Hey everybody, this is Tim Wolf. Today's topic is the Weeknd's performance at yesterday's Super Bowl halftime. We're going to talk about that, what songs he did, what were the themes, some of the influences that he has and that he appreciates and tried to pay tribute to in the show, and some of the norms that he broke. We're going to be talking about that. So as I said, I'm Tim Wolf. I'm a Nashville singer-songwriter artist, and there's a link down below where you can get 10 of my recent songs for free. You can download them, and there's also a link where you can listen to my music on Spotify. And also, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell if you like this content, so you can be notified when new videos are uploaded. Thank you. I see you. I see you. Thank you very much. So, yesterday at Super Bowl 55, Abel Tesfaye, his artist name The Weeknd, performed at the peak of, for pop artists, it's really the peak performance, peak concert that you can have. For 14 minutes, he performed 8 songs, and he had an incredibly ornate backdrop that was built in the stands. He spent over $7 million, or almost $7 million of his own money to make this happen. And by all reports, Super Bowl performers do not get paid. If they do get paid, it's by union scale, which is insignificant compared to the millions that they normally get paid when they go on tour. So this cost him money, but he wanted to put on a great show, and he was influenced by Michael Jackson and also Diana Ross's. Both of them performed at the halftime show in the 90s. And he actually said he wanted to have a finale like Diana Ross did in 96, where she took off in a helicopter, but he said he didn't have enough money for that. I don't know why that would be more expensive than the $7 million that he paid, but anyway, that's what he told Vanity Fair. So the halftime show started with him sitting in a prop car, a fake car with gull-wing doors, and he sits there for a few seconds or almost a minute, and then he opens the gull-wing doors and he walks out, and the camera's really close up on him, and then he sits down and overlooking, the camera pulls back, and then this figure, this robed figure with a hoodie and lighted eyes, very threatening figure, is lowered from above the set that he had, which was kind of like high-tech bleachers where the choir was sitting. It separates, and he walks out, and he starts singing his first song, which is Starboy, which was a hit in 2016. And the choir is dressed with these hooded robes, and the lights are coming out, kind of lighted eyes, kind of like a Star Wars, and others have said it reminded them of a music video from the 80s by Herbie Hancock called Rocket. And so a lot of people had some allusions to what maybe that was similar to. He went into The Hills, which was his hit from the 2013, one of his earlier hits. And then the bleachers parted, and he walked into the inside of the bleachers, which was a completely different look, and it was like a gold-plated, and he started singing I Can't Feel My Face, which was his hit in 2016 also. He's singing up close to the camera, and it's kind of disorienting because it's really close to the camera. And he also, dancers are coming out dressed in his signature bandages, which is from his most recent album, his 4th album, After Hours. And we're going to talk a little bit about what that's all about, and the kind of careening off of him, a lot of chaos, and then suddenly at a point in the song, they straighten up and they are in line. So it was highly choreographed. The hallway was illuminated with the words, "Feel good, nothing, alone, ours." And Vanity Fair says nothing is random in the Weeknd's world. Next, he did I Can Feel It Coming, which is a hit from 2016. Save Your Tears, which is first song that he covered from his most recent album, After Hours. And then he did Earned It, which came from 50 Shades of Grey. But according to my ears, he did a little bit faster tempo. It's a fairly slow song in the movie, his previous release. And then he covered a 1980s kind of obscure hit from Susie and the Banshees called Happy House, and that's what was playing and what his dancers were dancing to when they were performing on the field. And he had a whole group of dancers, I don't know how many, maybe 100 dancers, dressed in his signature red blazer, black shirt, and bandages on their face. And that is the persona that he's created for his After Hours albums. And so what's that all about? What is the bandages? Why in some of the videos that he's released, looks like he's all bloodied? And it's a persona that he's created, and he calls it the character. He revealed this to Vanity Fair. This story has been spinning since March of 2020, and he only revealed the significance of it within the last month to Vanity Fair. The significance of the entire head bandages is reflecting on the absurd culture of Hollywood celebrity and people manipulating themselves for superficial reasons to please and be evaluated. So he's making a negative comment on the celebrity culture. It's all a progression, and we watch the character's storyline hit heightened levels of danger and absurdity as his tale goes on. Red jackets, the gloves, and the facial injuries are all part of what The Weeknd calls the character, which began with his After Hours album, which is his fourth album. He wrote it about a character losing his mind in Vegas. So it's a bad night in Vegas is another way of thinking about it. I kept thinking about his style and how he would be the right person to execute the vision. I wanted to see him on screen more. That's what The Weeknd said. And in subsequent visuals, he's been severely bloodied, and then he was wearing bandages, and then one of his videos, he's performing wearing extreme grotesque prosthetics and maybe CGI to make him look like he's had plastic surgery that went really badly, and which could be also a commentary on Hollywood, because there's a lot of plastic surgery to people try to make themselves look more attractive and maybe reverse the aging effects. He's making commentary that way, and it's all part of the storyline for his latest album, After Hours, and that's why the dancers were dressed that way. So it's all very clever, in my opinion, and he's got a team with him. A recent cover of Billboard magazine shows him on the cover with his three homies that have been with him from the early days, and they help guide him. They're basically his brain trust. And he spent $7 million on this show, and that's a lot of money to spend when you're really not getting it back. It's really building his brand. Who is The Weeknd? He's a 30-year-old Canadian. His real name is Abel Tesfaye. He's son of Ethiopian immigrants, the only child. They came to Canada in the 80s. He had a troubled youth. He dropped out of high school, and he claims that's where the name came from. He called himself The Weeknd because he dropped out of high school one weekend and never went back. There is a producer in Canada, in Toronto, I believe, named Jeremy Rose, who apparently worked with him early on and gave him some beats. And very disgruntled Jeremy Rose, Mr. Rose says that he didn't get credit for the beats he gave The Weeknd, and he also says that he came up with a name for The Weeknd. There's that side of the story, whose side is true, who knows, but Jeremy Rose is someone who no one's heard of, and everyone now knows who The Weeknd is, so he's definitely had a very successful career. And he also was recently snubbed by the Grammys. He's got, I believe, 3 Grammys so far, but his greatest production was his most recent album, which was After Hours, and the song Blinding Lights, which, by the way, he says is about a continuation of the Las Vegas story. In the video, he's bloody. He shows that he had an accident, fell down in the video for the song, and shows himself bloodied and bruised. He said that the story is about a guy who's in love, infatuated with a girl, but he's drunk and he's trying to drive to go see her at night, but he's blinded by the streetlights, and someone who's really, his life is careening out of control. And that's the character, and that's the theme going through the entire album. I love albums that have themes and more cinematic, more maybe more of a production sort of thing, rather than just putting out a collection of songs. And it's taking it to a higher level, what I believe he is doing. He came out with this album After Hours, which was the strongest album of 2020. Blinding Lights was by some measures the number one song of 2020. Incredible commercial success and also critical success. And people were saying that he was a candidate to possibly win Album of the Year, After Hours, the album. And certainly would be a candidate to win some of the other genre-specific awards at the Grammys. And the Grammy nominations came out, and he wasn't even nominated for any category. It's one of the biggest in the history of the Grammys. It's one of the biggest snubs that they've ever done. And trying to figure out why they did that, why the Grammy did not even nominate him. There's one storyline that says it's because he was performing at the Super Bowl, too close to the Grammys. The Grammys are coming up in, I think, a few weeks. I don't know the exact date. There is a rumor that the Grammy board of directors was upset that he was performing at the Super Bowl, which I think is complete bullpucky, because what does that have to do with the Grammys? I mean, you get the opportunity to play at the Super Bowl as an artist, you take that opportunity because it's the biggest stage that an artist could be on. So if that's the reason that they snubbed him, boo, boo, boo. I boo the Grammys, because he definitely deserved to be at least nominated. Now, I did another video on the chances for who will win the Album of the Year. Taylor Swift is definitely in the conversation. She was nominated with her album Folklore, and the early odds were that it was going to be between Taylor Swift and The Weeknd. And The Weeknd wasn't even nominated. Now, there's another sleeper one, which is Jacob Collier and his album. I think it's, I don't know how to pronounce it, Djembe 3, I think is what it's called. That's a phenomenal album. I gotta admit, that is an amazing album. And I'm getting off topic here. It's gonna be interesting who wins Album of the Year, but I think it's greatly unfair that The Weeknd was not included in that. Now, he's had his success. He's doing very well commercially. He's only 30 years old. His career is just starting. Really, he's only fourth album. He's got a long career ahead of him. So there'll be other opportunities, hopefully, that he can win other Grammys. He's already a Grammy holder, so he's not having a hard life. If the Grammys are about rewarding the best albums and the best music, they should have nominated him. But anyway, so I really enjoyed the Super Bowl show that The Weeknd put on. His music is really well done. I think he sang the songs. I don't think he lip synced. I watched very closely, and it appeared to me that he did, in fact, sing the songs. He spent a lot of money. It was very well done, very tastefully done. There were no pole dancers like last year and scantily clad women. You could sit there and watch it with your kids if you're a family, which I think the Super Bowl should be a family-friendly event, and I encourage that. I'm glad that he did do that, and it was a highly choreographed, very well-run production. I didn't find any gaffes that were noticeable to me. Very relatable, even though his music is kind of dark, but he smiled at the camera a lot, and very relatable. And I thought it was one of the better ones in recent history. I thought it was very well done. Certainly better than last year, in my opinion. Too much pole dancing. But anyway, so that's my summary on The Weeknd. I'm going to be doing more videos on The Weeknd. I'm going to be doing covers of some of his songs. So subscribe to my channel, and I'll be continuing to do commentary on different artists. For right now, I'm going to focus on The Weeknd. It's going to be very interesting what happens after this. So thanks very much. We'll see you next time. Hey everybody, this is Tim Wolf. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please go to the link down below in the description. There's a Bitly link. Listen to my music at Spotify. I appreciate it very much. It means a lot to an artist if you follow them. If you would be kind enough to like the video if you enjoyed it and share it with your friends. Finally, be sure to subscribe. And then also there are other videos on this screen that you can watch. And I'll see you next time. Thank you so much.